welcome to the DC Latino Tour. You're in for the time of your life.
Welcome, and we have quite a few presenters who are going to be speaking from here.
Together, they unify themselves to discuss topics like political and social and governmental topics.
Now, the statue, it is a bronze, life-size statue that has her holding a pomegranate.
She told the people to treat Native Americans as their own and treat them with respect. Through this, the Latin American people, or the conquistadors and the indigenous people, felt that it was okay to mix, and that's how we now have our mestizo race.
As we all know, Columbus was the first person to establish lasting contact between the U.S. and Europe. Kind of sets the stage for further European involvement in the Americas. So how does this relate to us today? Well, kind of the oppression that Columbus helped set the precedence for. It existed, Mexican-American War, Treaty of Guadalupe, Banana Republics, racial segregation up until...
In 1691, Sor Juana would write what was to become one of her most famous works, Respuesta a Sor Filodea. Today she is remembered as one of the first Latina writers, as well as one of the most educated mestizo people of her time.
I was like, what do you mean that's your man? That's my man. He's got his son. You see that? He's my man. And that's because a lot of people know that he is actually a military and political leader, so it was very important in helping Latin Americans get independence from the Spanish crown in the early 19th century. But what's interesting about him is he is Venezuelan, but he helped a lot of people gain their independence.
Those two buildings behind me collectively are the Pan American Health Organization, which is actually a subsequent group that is within the World Health Organization. This is actually the regional headquarters for all of the Americas.
Promoted trade, he prevented smuggling, and maintained the positive relations with the natives. But his main accomplishment was that he helped the American colonies gain independence from the British.
So Galvez was ordered by Spain to appear neutral to the British, but also secretly help the Americans without the British finding out.
Benito Juárez was the first indigenous president of Mexico. Prior to his presidency, Mexico was ruled under two governments, his and Zulaga.
Latinos and Latinas have made an impact not only in our government, but they've also made history for Latino communities throughout the nation. They continue to make an impact today by having one Latino in the Senate and over 20 Latinos and Latinas in the House of Representatives.
It's in the heart of Washington, D.C. It's not only a beautiful landmark, but is a home of many protests and marches. Like many of those things happen here in the National Mall. Most of the protests and marches in history are for like civil rights and just rights for the American people.
The Supreme Court is located over there. Sorry. She was appointed to the Supreme Court in May 26, 2009. She was nominated by President Barack Obama and to become a member of the Supreme Court. This was an incredible story of a Latina woman and a Puerto Rican woman fulfilling the American dream.
This is considered the mountain of despair. The stone inside is considered to be the stone of hope. Now, young people, I have sense enough to know, no matter how many degrees I have, no matter how high my GPA is, I did not get here by myself. Somebody else came before you for you to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, you see these words. They are words written in stone. Why? Because words deliver a message. They're being written in stone means that that message will be communicated to generation after generation after generation.
Freedom, life, it's an inalienable right. You're born with it. You're born with it. And no one should ever try to deny you of it. Not here in this great country. Don't despair on the Constitution. Despair on those who practice it wrongly. But the Constitution, which Dr. King believed in all his might, it's a beautiful document. And this I see today. I am proud.
I think it's achieving my goal and even more because actually the presentations have been beyond my expectation, if I could say that.
people, since we're not going to pass by Farragut Plaza, it's right here. Later on, Andrew and Chris Edwards are going to present.
Ferry Square is a city block located in Washington, D.C., down 4 blocks from the White House.
Office of Latino Affairs, which is abbreviated OLAF, is an extension of the mayor's office. It was established in 1976, and it was the replacement of the Office of Spanish.
Who wanted to accommodate the large influx of Central American refugees that were coming to the DC area and that needed legal services. Their services have expanded, and now they have a department in housing, which means that they help people in this area as well, residents from DC and Maryland.
Bilingual charter school, and the name Centro Dia comes from a combination of 3 different languages: Spanish, Swahili, and Esperanto. The goal of this learning center was to create a space where children could receive a high quality and cost-effective education.
An American Youth Center is a multicultural, multi-service agency serving the youth in the District of Columbia and Prince George's and Montgomery counties of Maryland. The LAYC is one of the sources or one of the resources that many of the Latino youth were able to use.
Theater, which is where Gala, which is un grupo de artistas latinoamericanos.
So the only theater here that was catering to the Spanish-speaking people in DC.
20 years ago, there was a huge riot, a lot of violence. Like the early 90s and late 80s, you saw a wave of immigrants coming to DC, particularly Salvadorians and Central American. According to the 1990 census, there were about 607,000 people living in DC, with 37,000 of them being Latino, not to mention the ones that were undocumented.
Murals are like the oldest form of art known and recorded.
And this mural was created in 1977 by 2 Chilean brothers, Carlos and Renato Salazar.
Established in 1993. Its purpose is to reduce the dropout rate of Latinos in high school and to increase their enrollment in college.
Their mission statement is to work with the community to improve the quality of life and fight for equal treatment and full access to resources and opportunities for low-income. They also advocate for social, political, and economic justice for all low-income communities. I would like to just say a few words to Dr. Rodriguez and Mr. Bayless. Mr. Bayless, thank you very much for helping us have the tour. You have no idea how important it is to her and to us as a class. That's the wrap-up of the USLT.
I have no idea. I don't think you should ask me this question. I have no idea.
Show la fortaleza. I don't know. I can't do
that. Especially Latin American.
Director and actor named Hugo. I don't know how to say his last name.
What the biggest impact was is that. Oh, sorry. Okay.
You go play like them?
Comida. Coge tu comida y muévete. Come la cabeza de la carrera naranja. Te quiero mucho.
Ooh, no. Alright, Jasmine, so what do you think so far?
I like it.
Yeah?
Yes.
Are you learning?
Yes.
Then our goal is inspired. Can you guys skip
Yep.